Hi everybody. Here's a overview of all the projects for two-dimensional design as we have produced in the fall of 2022. And for people that are taking the Intersession course starting in January, this is a good checklist to see all the projects that we'll be doing. And here we are with the very beginning. Everything is done in Photoshop. For the most part, we'll have some other programs at the end of the course that we'll be playing with. And this first project is introducing you to the relationship of an object to the defined space, a circle to its square, and the relationship of positive and negative space, and trying to assign a human emotion to that relationship. We want 6 pieces minimum, and you can do many more if you'd like. And the circle it must be a perfect circle, and this has to be a perfect square, which we get to by holding down the Alt and Shift keys as you click and drag the marquee tool. Okay, so that's project 1. This is a reversal, which is kind of interesting. We want to put a title underneath the piece, and pretty nice, yeah. So experiment with scale, experiment later with filters. So this is a circle that's been distorted through the use of distortion filters in Photoshop. And okay, so the next project, it was to try to find individual modules of design in somewhat a broader chaotic design. So we first began by pulling perfect circles in a variety of sizes and filling up the space. And one rule was don't have any of the circles overlap. And I don't want to see ovals or other distorted shapes in here. And then take a perfectly square marquee tool and select out segments to be used in the project forthcoming. So select 6 segments here. And that's project 2. Okay, so we've got a bunch of different segments, and then those segments get put together in a variety of ways. The first way, this one is rather broad, like too many, but this is better. It's in closer. In a straight translation and a 5x5 grid. This happened, yeah, it's 5x5. Translation means just a straight repeat over and over again. Again, the video will take you through the process of how to do this. And okay, so each of the modules, then you're going to make 6 translations with each of the selected modules. Okay, and we'll call that project 3. So mark your projects with simply numbers like 3.3, 3.4, etc. Okay, now we're moving on to project 4. Whoops. And in this project, instead of doing a straight repeat, we did a rotation of 90 degrees. If we assume the upper left corner is the first one, the second one is rotated 90, the third one down in the lower right corner is 180, and the fourth one is 270, okay, which we get to by inputting a minus 90 in the free transform tool. Again, that's covered in the video. So take a few modules and do that to it. Okay, and then, oops. Then take the groups of 4 and gang them up to create a rotational pattern. Okay, let's see here. So we're up in this level here. Okay. And that's project 4. Project 5 is to do a mirror imaging instead of a rotational symmetry. And so if we think of 4 units around this direction, this one to the right is mirrored to the one on the left, and the one below it is mirrored to that one, and this one is mirrored to that one. Okay, so it's both horizontal and vertical mirroring, and then take those and gang them up. And this is project 5. In this case, we took the last one, copied that whole canvas and rotated it 90 degrees, and then did a layer blend between the 2 layers. So that's really just a variation of this one. Still project 5. Okay. Project 6 is to take the letter S in an Edwardian script font and write an action script in Photoshop that will copy the item and rotate it 60 degrees, and to divide up a circle into 6 equal units like this of 60 degrees each. And then copy that layer and repeat it and rotate it 30. So now we have 12. And do it again for 15. You see the point? Then we could also take layers and reverse one set with a Control I, and on the background layer do a gradient, radial gradient like that. That's project 6. After playing with, since you have the script written, what you want to do then is take maybe your own letter, first name, and do the same process. Here's the letter R for Reagan, and doubled up and inverted, etc. Okay, same process. Okay, project 7 is to take Arial black, which is the boldest form of black, and put out a grid that's 2 by 2 inches, set your canvas to 12 by 12, and create a crop of a section of a letter form. And then using that cropped letter form, do a translation. So we're using that as a stamp again. And that's project 7. And do your variations as always. So crop several units, like 5 or 6, and do translations of them. And here's a case of shrinking it down and then doing a rotation of that one form, this one here. And taking that idea even further. Project 8 is to explore mirror imaging, as previously discussed, but using a photograph. And here we Googled sunlight through the trees, cropped it to a perfect square, copied it 4 times, and mirrored it. And then kept that going by copying the flattened layer and rotating it 45 and doing a layer blend. This is project 8, then 22.5 and 11.25, and take it till you break it, as I like to say, for these interesting radial designs. You can then take a second photograph and do the same thing. So this was a tree in the winter, And notice how light is coming to the center and darkness towards the edges. It's a universal idea. So this is project 8. Anything with a linear component, so instead of a tree in the winter, this was chain link fence and razor wire to create that design. And then doing the same rotation. Did that. It's an earlier version of the razor wire before it was converted to black and white. Okay, project 9, we pulled out a perfect triangle on a photograph using the vector shape tool. Again, refer to the video on this. And then turned the vector shape into a selection, and then copied it out to create hexagonal shapes, and then ganged up the hexagonal shapes. Okay. And that resulted in those designs. So do several again, pick up different photographs, and in this case a selection was made with a circle marquee and it feathered, creating kind of a kaleidoscopic effect. So that's project 9. Project 10, we took a circle, it's called the quarter circle, and divided it into 4 pieces, then taking one of those pieces, experimented with rotations and flipping to create a grid pattern that tessellates perfectly with no spaces. And here's a straight repeat of those circles, and then all these variations are how you rotate the, oh, come on, load here. And I'm going to have to pause it here. Since this is 13 minutes on this video, I'm going to cut it off here and start another one for the next group.